By the way, can I bring up this One Direction movie that's now battling?
Wait, you saw it? What did you go? You went to go see it?
No, I'm not going to go see it. But I just want to bring something up, okay? Right now this One Direction movie is like battling The Butler for the top of the box office for the Labor Day weekend. That's beside the point. I just wanted to comment on the fact that I clicked on it to look at the IMDb thing, and you know who directed that? Morgan Spurlock.
Yeah.
And I can say, I don't say a lot of negative things about people, especially on Filmability, but I did write one really I tear Morgan Spurlock a new asshole in this one article, because I just talk about how crappy his movies are, how crappy Super Size Me is, and all the other movies, and how I think that all he wants to do is really become famous. I don't think he really cares about, saving people's lives or anything like that. Who doesn't know that if you go and eat McDonald's every day, you're not going to exactly be healthy afterwards?
No. I mean, there's a good point to be made there. I mean, the show he did on FX. The show he did on FX.
Well, I mean, who doesn't know the smoking is bad for you? Does that make The Insider not a worthy effort?
Yeah, but I like
The Insider's not about smoking. It's about a guy trying to tell the truth. So that has nothing to do with. But
isn't Super Size Me about Morgan Spurlock trying to tell the truth about a major corporation that constantly tries to silence the truth?
No, I don't think that he's trying to tell the truth about that at all. I think he did a stunt-ass movie where he's just stunting his way to the top, and everybody bought it. And I don't think that movie had anything to do. Well, he's trying to sell us this idea that first of all, he's trying to sell us the idea that his movie's worth the shit, because why would anybody ever think that eating McDonald's 3 times a day for the rest of your life is going to result in anything but trouble? I mean, nobody thinks that. But that's what his thesis is. That's what his thesis is, that everybody eats it every day. So this is what happens, and I'm going to try it. And here's what happened. What happened was, I'm suffering liver failure, and I gained a lot of weight. Big deal. Who cares? Who didn't know that wasn't going to happen? He just tried to stunt his way to the top, and it succeeded.
And the stuff in there about marketing and agriculture and school lunches and all of that kind of. You don't think that's important topics to raise?
Well, it actually came out at a very good time when Fast Food Nation came out, the book.
I think those are good topics, but here's my ultimate point about Morgan Spurlock. Okay, so now he's gone from Super Size Me, where he's trying to save the world from the shittiness of McDonald's, and now he's talking the shittiness of One Direction to us. So he's totally okay with shitting up our minds and everything. I mean, he just doesn't want to shit. He doesn't want anybody shitting up our bodies. So, he's totally. But what I'm saying is that this guy is out for the cash all the time. Well,
look. I mean, if he's out,
I don't have a problem with that.
Who the fuck goes into documentary filmmaking to become rich?
Well, he certainly did. And he did become rich.
He followed. Look, I like Super Size Me. The TV show I could have cared less about. Where the Bin Laden movie I thought was just silly. The movie about branding was kind of interesting. But look, wasn't he a director for hire on the One Direction movie? Couldn't they have gotten anybody? They could have gotten me, you, the guy at the Quickie Mart. I mean, they could have gotten anybody.
He has no integrity. Zero integrity.
There are a lot of targets out there to pick. I know, and you're not the first person to bring this up about Morgan Spurlock. A lot of people think he's a joke. But I actually thought Super Size Me was rather well done. I really did. I don't think he's ever made a film that's a documentary that's quite really gotten that level to it, but I actually think the first one out of the gate is pretty well done.
Well, I'm immediately suspicious of any documentary filmmaker that puts themselves front and center on their movie posters.
But that's what Michael Moore did. Michael Moore was the one who started that.
I agree, and I'm suspicious of him now too. I mean, like I just don't like that whole deal of like the movie director, the documentary director as the star of their own documentary. I mean, that's the worst thing that Michael Moore has done. And in fact, I can't even go back and look at Michael Moore's movies now because they're so embarrassingly bad. I can't even stand looking at
Lenny Riefenstahl would have been in her movies, but okay.
But, I mean, the only guy who can pull it off, by the way, the only documentary filmmaker who can pull off being a central part of their own movies is Werner Herzog. The only guy who can do it. And do it where he actually improves the movie.
He's just as fascinating as his movies are.
Yeah, I mean, he's really like, he's the man.
Look, here's my take. Morgan Spurlock's been a guest on the show a couple of times. I've always liked talking to him. I don't particularly care for his movies, so I have no dog in the hunt. I think that some of the stuff that he talks about in Super Size Me is important and it needs to be discussed more. And the value of that movie maybe is the conversations that took place after it, not the movie itself. But I will say that he was in town recently shooting something, he and his crew that he uses in every movie, and they all talked to a friend of mine, and none of them took the One Direction thing seriously. They just knew, we're doing this thing with this boy band, and we know it's going to be popular. So it was a job.
I look at it as a job, and I would have taken it if I was him too.
I would have. If I were him, I would have said no. That guy is the only guy in the entire movie realm that just gets my ire up every time I hear his name or see his face or hear anything.
Morgan Spurlock, really?
Yes.
Morgan Spurlock. No one else.
I don't think that anyone really takes him seriously. I mean, he's pretty lightweight.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. He's incredibly lightweight to the point where he's just floating away.
But he's not lightweight in Super Size Me because he gained all that weight during the third.
Right, true.
All right, we got some email from fans. 1950s Time Machine wrote us and told us how much he loved the show and how much he wanted to be a part of it. And what time do you guys do the live show? And so I told him that we record and then we edit and blah, blah, blah. And then he came back with, I especially love your 1980s summer season tribute shows. I think they are great. I've recently applied for a job in a cinema, and I heard you guys have worked in cinemas also. Thanks again for providing some wonderful discussions on films. I especially loved your Barry Manilow interview, which I found very touching and moving. In fact, I find your show pretty moving. The way you talk about movies is so inspiring, and the guests you have on are themselves without makeup on. It's them raw without all the schlock. You've really made something great here, guys. Don't give up all the good work. I especially love the fact that you made Dean a movie geek, meaning one of our co-hosts, because I always loved it when he called in the past. He was always so lively and entertaining, even though he hates Morgan Spurlock. He actually wrote that. Look at that. Such a wonderful...